Partners, bosses, employees, associates, colleagues, neighbors, friends, family, that person you love most. We're all surrounded by people, and with many of them we have ongoing relationships. How would you like to be able to improve those relationships significantly? You can. I'm here to talk about applying a very simple concept that's been all the rage in business and public policy for the last decade to those types of relationships. By learning to create value more effectively, you can enhance your relationships. What do we mean by value? Intuitively, you understand that we all bring to relationships value. We take value from those relationships. Every relationship is a series of transactions and interactions, of give and take. The exchange can range from cold hard cash in exchange for goods or services to normal social interactions that we have every day, to the acts of love that we have with those closest to us. But in every case, there is some exchange of value in relationships. You're there because there is value, and others are there with you because they take value from it. We can claim value when we take something from the relationship and give something of value back. But the relationship itself also has importance. There are times when we give something to the relationship, or we sacrifice something for the relationship just to maintain and enhance that relationship, because relationships themselves had value. Without the relationship, there's no give and take. But besides claiming value and enhancing the relationship, we can also create value. What do I mean when I say create value? In cold mathematical terms, we create value by expanding the dimension of the trade space. We give with one hand, we take with another. And if we can expand the dimensions on which we give and take, then we can create value. This is all stuff that I learned several years ago at the Kennedy School about negotiation, but it applies equally well to your personal relationships. So, how can we create value in a personal relationship? Our relationships evolve. Our relationship's a complex series of negotiations as the relationship changes over time. Mostly those negotiations aren't open and business-like, though. We don't rely on a contract or actually standing and saying, I will give you this for that. Instead, we rely on convention, nonverbal cues, unspoken assumptions that come from our social background. Sometimes we snipe, we bicker, and we fight. And with those that are close to us. When both parties are meeting each other's expectations, then the relationship seems to work. And there's no need to turn all your personal relationships into business-like negotiations to create value. You can create value by offering something new up in the relationship. Create value by asking for something different that you believe that your partner can give to you, and that you expect that your partner will want to give to you. In this room full of resourceful individuals, I know that you can imagine some way to add value to any relationship. The key is understanding what your partner in the relationship wants and what your partner can reasonably give to you. My older daughter and her husband, as an example, applied this concept to managing their family finances and making major decisions in their life. They hold a monthly summit where they accomplish a routine task of looking at their budget, understanding their spending, their income, their investing, and the other financial aspects of their life. But in the process of holding these little meetings, my daughter came to understand that she had an opportunity to change things in the relationship by creating value. She wanted more control over routine spending, so she gave her husband more control over decisions about making investments. They each gained in the process because she was less interested in monitoring the investments and he was less interested in the day-to-day spending. In that way, she created value. Her husband was risk adverse and reluctant to make major purchases. She created imaginary accounts and got him to buy into the idea that when they reached a certain threshold, that they'd make a decision about the spending. Again, she created value and in the relationship, and they both benefited as a consequence. And they were able to apply this to other decisions about how many vacations to take during the year, and to give each of them an opportunity to have money for discretionary spending, for those guilty pleasures that they didn't want scrutiny over. What works for each of us in a relationship will vary. Relationships are not cookies that we can press out with a cookie cutter. In every relationship, you can create value if you can expand the dimensions of the trade space. To do that, you must recognize your partner's values and what they're looking for from the relationship, and discover what else you might be providing to them. We can find a way to offer up something and to take something back that expands the dimensions of our trade space and creates value in our relationships.